My name is Smits Lee, and I'm a resident of Mira Mesa for 30 years and as well as an advocate for Mira Mesa. I had the pleasure of serving you on the Board of Education as a Board of Trustee in San Diego Unified School District. I would like to thank our mayor, Mayor Faulconer, for inviting me here today as a supporter of the One San Diego budget. Lots of elected leaders like to talk about better streets, parks, and libraries. And that's just that, talk. But Mayor Faulconer is following up with action. The mayor is putting the money where his mouth is. This budget includes money to pave the roads that help us get to work. It's money for the parks that our children play in, and money for libraries that provide us with a space to come together as a community. Today represents an important day for our San Diego communities. So on behalf of the residents of Mira Mesa, I would like to welcome the City Council members and Mayor Faulconer to our wonderful community and neighborhoods. Now it is my pleasure to introduce the council members that represent District 6, Chris Kate.
Thank you, Mitz. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to District 6. I first want to say thank you to Mayor Faulconer, all the city staff, all of their work in developing a fantastic budget and my first budgets on the City Council. I'd also like to thank Council President Leitner and my colleagues for a very smooth and transparent process in reviewing the budget, making sure that we have enough public feedback to do our work as council members. And I also want to thank our independent budget analysts for allowing us to host a public budget forum for our district to hear feedback from our community. This budget will increase library and recreation hours, improve our city's infrastructure like this great street we have here today, hire better and more public safety officials, fund community plan updates, and boost services citywide. It's invigorating to see our city's devotion to core neighborhood services that truly help all San Diegans. This budget is a prominent investment in the community and residents that help make San Diego a great place to live, work, and play. Located just a couple miles away from here is the Gil Johnson Recreation Center, where we're going to have an increase in recreation hours to 60 hours a week. Thousands of Mira Mesa residents will be able to participate in sports, arts, and crafts, and extracurricular programming. In this budget, we've set aside funding to update community plans, including those of Claremont and Kearny Mesa, right here in District 6. And also, we're going to be bolstering our city's streets and infrastructure. This year's budget will improve 300 miles of streets, well on our way to our commitment of over 1,000 miles in the next 5 years. And lastly, we're also continuing to promote fiscal responsibility in this budget. We're using one-time monies for one-time resources. I look forward to having a discussion later this year of how to use additional one-time resources to establish a pension stabilization trust fund and fund other reserves that are necessary and vital to ensuring our city's financial health for the future. Thank you very much.
Well, good morning, everybody. We are standing on one of my favorite things in the entire world, a freshly paved street. And I just want to thank the mayor and my colleagues. This really is a great budget for all San Diegans. I was proud to join the council in unanimously approving this budget, and it really will invest in our neighborhoods to make San Diego safer, stronger, and improve our overall quality of life. By funding 4 police academies and upgrading the department's antiquated dispatch system, the San Diego Police Department will be able to recruit and retain an experienced force and provide our officers with the help they need to protect all San Diegans. Our neighborhoods will also be safer thanks to the new Mission Valley Fire Station, a temporary fire station at Skyline, and a new fast response squad in University City. These additions will not only improve safety in the communities that they serve, but other stations will now be able to focus more on their immediate area instead of being pulled across town, which should help improve emergency response times for everyone. I also want to thank the mayor for continuing to make infrastructure a top priority. As you know, this is an issue that's near and dear to my heart. Over the past several years, we've really been able to turn the page from just talking about our infrastructure problem to actually doing something about it. By repairing over 300 miles of streets this year, like the one right here today, we are well on our way to the mayor's goal of over 1,000 miles over the next 5 years, which is over 1/3 of all the streets in the city. That is a major feat. With the historic investment in streets, sidewalks, and street lights, we will make San Diego a more walkable street as well. And with millions of dollars in facilities and park improvements, San Diegans will again be able to take pride in their public buildings. By making infrastructure the city's top priority, the 2016 budget is proof that this city is capable of wisely investing tax dollars to rebuild San Diego today and for future generations. Thank you all very much.
Mayor Faulconer, I'm excited to be here with you and my council colleagues for the fiscal year 2016 budget signing ceremony. This is a good news budget. The difficult sacrifices made by our city employees and the hard decisions made by previous councils have put us in a position where we are able to restore staffing and expand city services and projects. This includes extended recreation center hours, additional library hours, and the restoration of the library materials budget and some funding for city-wide tree trimming. I believe that this investment is in the best interest of our city and will help to ensure that our employees have the appropriate resources to carry out their duties and provide the best customer service. Every community in the city deserves adequate fire rescue, community-oriented policing services, and safe streets and sidewalks. These are the essential resources that are needed, especially in the neighborhoods that have been historically underserved. As a District 4 representative, I'm especially pleased that the budget includes additional funding for streetlights and sidewalks. I'm also glad that this budget prioritizes the city's fleet maintenance needs with the addition of fleet mechanics. This budget begins to rebuild our workforce, the frontline workers and the positions that took a hit when our economy was much worse. And last but certainly not least, this budget includes $1 million for the design and environmental analysis of the much-needed sidewalks and street enhancements on Market Street in my district. I almost broke out in the happy dance at the city council, but I want to spare you of that. This will take us one step closer in providing the safety and also the dignity for those residents that often have to walk and push strollers on dirt or in the street to get to the trolley station or the beautiful Malcolm X Library. This adopted budget will help with revitalizing our neighborhoods. I know that we have a lot more work to do to ensure that our neighborhoods are safe and livable. But I feel really good today that this budget is a step in the right direction. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, and Council President Leitner.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Cole. I want to thank the Mayor, Councilmember Gloria, our Budget Committee Chair, my council colleagues, financial management, and all the city staff who helped prepare this year's budget. I'd like to give a special thanks to the Office of the Independent Budget Analyst. I know that they work tirelessly during budget season to review the proposed budget and provide their own recommendations. That proves so important in our final decision-making process. On Monday, the council was able to place its stamp on the final budget. We made some key changes and additions that will benefit neighborhoods throughout the city. I am especially pleased to see increased funding for public safety, including 3 more lifeguards for Wind and Sea and Pacific Beach. Meanwhile, 3 additional park rangers will provide invaluable support to our police and lifeguards in addressing quality of life issues in our parks and along our shoreline. The additional funding for Penny for the Arts will benefit community events and programs throughout the city and get us closer to our commitment to the Arts and Culture Commission. I'm also especially pleased that we were able to increase funding to our libraries. Branch libraries will get an additional 3 hours on Saturdays and 4 hours at our central library on the weekends. This will give residents citywide improved weekend access to their neighborhood library. This is truly the best budget in years. Yes! The mayor and council can take pride in approving a final budget that responsibly restores public safety and neighborhood services. It funds additional infrastructure while not only fully funding our reserves, but also setting aside over $15 million in excess of those reserves for any unanticipated needs. This is due in large part to the sacrifices made by city staff and our residents over the past several years. I'd like to note that for the 10th straight year, the City of San Diego has fully funded its pension obligations. Strong fiscal discipline is essential to maintaining a sound pension plan, and the city's commitment in this area is noteworthy. Again, I'd like to thank everyone who has participated in developing this year's budget. We have come so far in terms of restoring services and critical needs while building our reserves and ensuring we're on solid footing for years to come. With that, it's my privilege to introduce the Honorable Mayor Kevin Faulconer.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you. Great job. Great job. Thank you. Well, good morning. It is a great morning, and as all of us have come together, I can't say enough thank you to all of my colleagues on the City Council, all of our great city employees, our directors. We worked together on this. That's how we achieved this result. And to have this budget come across the finish line, restoring neighborhood services, to have the support of the City Council unanimously speaks volumes of how we're working together, how we're collaborating to put the city and our neighborhoods first. So I'm delighted, Council President Leitner, and I want to thank you for all of your hard work, and I'm so happy to be with our fellow neighbors here in this beautiful Mira Mesa neighborhood with, yes, Mr. Kersey, a freshly paved street. It's great. It's the type of thing that's happening across the city and, as Councilmember Cole just said, in every single neighborhood, to make sure that every neighborhood is getting its fair share of services. So I'm happy that I'm going to sign a budget here in just a couple of minutes that makes sure that we're continuing to bring more road repairs across the city. We are going to pave 1,000 miles of streets within the next 5 years. And as our colleagues came together, as we have come so far, this 2016 budget was the opportunity for us to say, let's make sure that we're putting neighborhoods first and we're working together. And so how often can you say that things happen unanimously in a bipartisan fashion? Well, that's going to be more of the norm because that's the tone that all of us are trying to set, which is making sure that we're putting neighborhood needs first. It's just one of the things that we're doing to make things different in San Diego. We're working together to solve our problems. We're keeping our finances in order. We will never allow this city to repeat the financial mistakes of the past. We're getting our city back on track. And with the signing of this budget, we're starting something new in San Diego. Starting now, emergency 911 will help arrive sooner. Starting now, new streetlights will make our neighborhoods safer. Starting now, our parks will have better equipment and our rec centers will be open longer. And starting now, our children can use expanded after-school programs and our library internet speeds will be the fastest they've ever been. And starting now, we are putting more money into reserves to responsibly plan for the future. And starting now, we're taking those financial savings from the years of fiscal reforms and turning it into opportunity for every single neighborhood. A better San Diego indeed starts now with the signing of this budget after all of the hard work of my colleagues. It's opportunity realized, and it's one San Diego in action. It's a balanced budget, it's a neighborhood's budget, and San Diego, it's your budget. But before I sign it, and we are going to sign it, I'd like to thank just a few people, maybe just a few. First and foremost, as I mentioned, the entire City Council, whose tireless work over the last several months, working to get this budget across the finish line. Council President Leitner, Councilmember Gloria, the Budget Chair, all of our colleagues here, our independent budget analyst, it was a team effort. Our city leadership team, headed by our Chief Operating Officer, Scott Chadwick, our Assistant Chief Operating Officer, Stacy Lemedico, and of course our city team who worked on this budget day and night, led by our Chief Financial Officer, Mary Lewis, Financial Management Director, Tracy McCraner, and Deputy Director, Julio Canizal. and all of our department directors, including those here today, our Police Chief Shelley Zimmerman, our Fire Chief Javier Maynard, our Library Director Misty Jones, Parks and Recreation Director Herman Parker, our Public Works Director, speaking of streets, James Nagelvort, and our Transportation and Stormwater Director, Chris McFadden. You will not find a harder working group that has the best interests of this city when they go to work every single day than these ladies and gentlemen that stand behind me. And if I also might say, particularly for me, my Chief of Policy, Jamie Bradford, our Director of Infrastructure and Budget, Catherine Johnston, and our Director of Council Affairs, Brian Pepin, all of whom worked very, very hard on getting this across the finish line. And of course, our Mira Mesa neighbors today of Chinon Circle and Tuesday Lane for hosting us. What a beautiful sight, what a beautiful setting. And lastly, every San Diegan who came to make their voices heard, to know what the priorities of this city should be as we fashioned this budget. It was you who made a difference. This was an inclusive process, a process that involved our entire city. And I thank each and every one of you. And with that, let's sign the budget, shall we? Okay. And as I do, before we sign it, if I might, for some of our Spanish-speaking neighbors, este presupuesto es para nuestras comunidades. Ahora, ayuda a llegar más pronto en emergencias. Nuevas luces en calles harán nuestras comunidades más seguras. Nuestros parques serán mejorados para familias. Más niños podrán usar los programas en bibliotecas después de escuela. Y podemos componer calles en todas las comunidades. Gracias, and now let's sign. Thank you. This? Oh, gosh. This? Because everybody's going to get one of these. Yes. Spell my name right? R. It's official. Congratulations.